Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Johnny Consciousness. I'm John Moore, your host. It's been a minute since I've been on. I'm doing a little thing different today, so I got some notes. So pardon me if I read. I got a wobbly table out here. It's a beautiful day here in Northern California, and happy Mother's Day to all who watch this on Mother's Day, and happy day, night, evening, whatever, wherever you are. Right off the bat, this channel is for entertainment, philosophical, spiritual, and educational purposes. And I want to say welcome to new subscribers. I've gone from 36 to last time I checked was I think close to 80. That's that's uh, that's wonderful. Thank you for subscribing. I encourage the new subscribers and even some of the ones that maybe came on board after my first episode 2 years ago. Uh, I encourage you to view my first YouTube video wherein consciousness manifested itself with orbs of curious shapes and dynamic light. If you like my content, please like and share and subscribe. Now let's get on with the episode today. Today I want to address orbs and consciousness and kind of put the two together, since that's what my life is all about right now. Um, so I want to talk about the orbs that are interacting with me as well as others and how they relate to consciousness from my point of view. First, let's look briefly at orbs. A lot of people discount them as lens flare, dust, pollen particles floating in the lens, or moisture getting inside the lens, things like that. So, according to Michael Ledwith, DDLLD, I don't know what those initials means, in the book The Orb Project, published in 2007, which he co-authored with Klaus Heinemann, PhD, Michael states, a lot of people assert that these orbs and plasmoid images appear because the flash reflects off moisture, pollen, dust particles in the air, or because of marks on the camera lens, or because of lens flare caused by the light reflecting off of numbers of even numbers of internal surfaces within the lens and so on. If that were the sole reason for why the orbs are there, then it should be possible to demonstrate identical effects repeated in successive pictures, and I will add videotapes. There is no doubt that there's no doubt at all that errors of this kind can readily happen, but with care they can be avoided. And anybody who has any reasonable experience in orb photography can easily learn to spot what effects might come from moisture or precipitation, or dust or pollen particles, and what does not. But it would be absurd, even at this stage of the evidence, to suggest such errors could explain away the orb phenomenon. Unquote. Currently in my life, this is me talking now, the quote's over. I'm video recording myself in varying tasks like driving, doing a tarot reading, shaving, meditating, and I just do it to see if orbs appear. Most often they don't, but sometimes they do. You can look at some of my short videos and see them when I've done tarot readings and even driving. I also have a picture, or excuse me, a video of an orb interacting with our dog Starbuck. I'll dig that one up sometime and try to publish it. Personally, I believe these orbs are conscious beings of energy or plasma. I believe some are departed souls, guides, and yes, even angels. I sense this intuitively through consciousness. Recall the old philosophy question: how many angels can dance on the head of a pin? My guess: infinite amounts. As Yoda said in the movie Star Wars Return of the Jedi, luminous beings we are we. Let me get that right. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. As I've said many times before, let your light shine. Furthermore, I implore all of us to let our luminosity shine out with compassion and gratitude towards all you encounter in your life. And I'm no saint, my partner can attest to that, but I do try, and that's what we all have to keep doing. Personally, I subscribe to panpsychism. Everything is conscious to one degree or another, from the tarot cards to the microphone I'm using to the laptop. I personally subscribe to this and reject materialism and illusionism. However, some scientists reject my and many others' view of consciousness. According to an article published recently by Popular Mechanics entitled Human Consciousness is an Illusion, Scientists Say, by Stav Dimitropoulos, professor of philosophy. Period. In the article, Professor of Philosophy Dr. Keith Francis says, in part, consciousness doesn't exist. And we only think it does because we are under a sort of illusion about our own minds, a view I call illusionism, unquote. The article continues, quote, in other words, we humans have vastly extended the power of our biological brains, and through powerful tricks like self manipulation or solid problem solving skills, we have convinced ourselves we have a unified conscious mind, a self, a soul. But it's all an illusion, according to Frankish. This is referred to as illusionism. However, another well-known biologist and author, Rupert Sheldrake, PhD, according to the same article, states, quote, it's an irrefutable fact that not only do we humans have consciousness, but the whole galaxy has consciousness too. Sheldrake is, unquote. Sheldrake is best known for a hypothesis of morphic resonance, a process through which self-organizing systems like termite, excuse me, Sheldrake is, this is, I'm still quoting from the article. Sheldrake is best known for a hypothesis of morphic resonance, a process through which self-organizing systems, picture like termite colonies or insulin molecules, inherit a memory from previous similar systems. Similar organisms share mysterious telepathic interconnections, and species share collective memories. This is how your dog foretells when you're coming home and why you feel awkward, or you can tell when someone's looking at you, unquote. So how do orbs and consciousness relate to you and me in this material world? For me, as I said earlier, I reject materialism and illusionism. And I used to be solidly in their camp up until 3 or 4 years ago. And I reject these because, among other things, they say consciousness originates and only resides in the brain. Orbs, however, like us, are manifestations of consciousness. That's what I believe. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a professional photographer, and I don't hold any degrees. so I'm not accustomed to defending or expressing my beliefs. However, the following excerpt from a book's introduction will give you a sense of where I am in my journey. The book is by Christopher Nolan, is entitled UAPs and the Afterlife: How New Disclosures Support Centuries of Psychic and Spiritual Research. Christopher Nolan stated it in the introduction of this book, quote, I'm persuaded that consciousness transcends the brain, that our individual consciousness, aka psyche, spirit, is a part of a fundamental consciousness field, that with bodily death comes the return of our consciousness, still individualized, to our source, our home, aka God, the Creator. That the spirits of the departed are not actually departed at all, but still exist in the same place that we do, just at a higher vibrational frequency. That these spirits can occasionally lower their frequency in order to revisit us, communicating through authentic mediums and even affecting the physical world. That any array of psychic spiritual phenomena, for example, telepathy, remote viewing, and psychokinesis, can be understood within this context. That the UAP enigma is located with us in the same in the same fundamental consciousness field, and that these visitors are intimately akin to us, not in fact aliens who evolved independently elsewhere in the cosmos. Unquote. I know that's a lot. That's just from the book's introduction. I can't say enough about the book. I'm going to reread it again very shortly. Do you want to know more about what I'm talking about? Then I highly recommend that, like I said, that book, UAPs in the Afterlife, and the Orb Project. Now I'm going to close with a tarot reading. I haven't done one in a while. You know, I consider myself an amateur at this. I'm a veteran, so I'm concerned about our military's morale. So, since I'm reading about uh, them, the military, I'm using. Did I bring it? Well, I'm using the Marvel tarot deck. I was very pleased to find these, and I figure since young people probably are very familiar with the Marvel universe, I do a reading this way. Like I said, I'm still new, so I might be consulting the guide. I'm asking my team to help me and tell me about the morale of our military folks in the Middle East. You know, we're hearing stories of bad food, no food, low morale. So let's just see. Low morale. Tell us about the troops, please. Please tell us about the troops' morale overseas. The troops' morale overseas. The troops' morale overseas. Thank you. Okay. Now I do my readings a little different. I start out with 3, but it can easily go to 10. And I learn by intuition what that spirit tells me. So let's see. Let's draw the first 3 cards. That's all we might need. Okay. This is 9 of Cups. Usually a very, very good, omen. This is Domino. She's an X-Men. She's known for her luck. However, right now, or at least in the recent past, soldiers haven't been feeling very lucky at all. Knight of Cups. As you can see, this knight is cautious, standing still. A lot of folks in the military over there don't know, according to tarot, why we're there and what we're trying to accomplish. Now we have the Queen of Coins. So I'm just going to consult my other tarot. 'Cause like I said, I'm not familiar with this. So the matching in the golden tarot is also the Queen of Coins, the Queen of Love. Now, this character is called the Black Cat. She's a professional thief and lover of one time of Spider-Man, and she's very aggressive. So, taken with this other card of caution, and then we get her. I think this represents the military leaders just saying, "We're the USA. We can do anything. So just follow your orders and do what you're told." So let's just pull a few more cards because I'm curious about that. So I'm just arranging it here so I can do that. Let's pull three more cards. One, two, one. I want to keep everything straight. Two, three. I can pull four cards. Four. This is the world. Upside down. Israel and the United States attack on Iran has the world completely confused. Economies are turned upside down. And as far as the troops go, they know this. They know how people are looking for us, and they feel it. Three of Swords, reversed. Again, this tells me that although our troops are prepared, their heart isn't in fighting. Not this war. And then we have Spider-Man and Mary Jane reversed. Major Arcana, the lovers. Of course, we're talking about our troops here. So they miss their families, they miss their loved ones, and they want to go home. And then I have to consult again, I'm so sorry, the Knight of Coins. So, Knight of Coins here, that's your traditional Knight of Coins. Um, this is military progress. Kind of halted, right? But here it is in the Marvel universe. This is Hank Pym, otherwise known as Ant-Man. They even made a movie out of him. So this is a very brilliant scientist, and he's kind of standing there assessing. And I think this represents the thought of the younger officers, the lower ranking officers, the lieutenants, your captains, and perhaps even some majors who are looking at this whole thing saying, wait a minute, what are we trying to accomplish here? What are we doing? And then we'll just pull the last three cards to make a total of 10 cards, and that makes 10, 1 plus 0. That's what my guides are telling me. So it's one cohesive reading. So the last ones are, this is Reed Richards, of Fantastic Four fame, reversed. He's brilliant. He's making plans, how to fight evil, etc. But it's reversed in this case. And I think this is, again, we're talking about our troops. They look at our leadership in Washington and say they don't know what the hell they're doing. And I'm biased. I'll give you that. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a hawk. I'm more of a dove. If you haven't figured that out by now. Okay, next card is the Knight of Wands. I can't remember who this character is, and I don't want to embarrass myself by looking at the books. But look at her again. Caution, caution, caution. This represents probably, again, the younger people. Tarot's trying to put an emphasis on this. The knights, the younger ranking officers, are like, let's hold off until we have a solid plan and a goal. And last is the Empress, upside down. This represents, I think, the morale of our troops. I could be wrong. They feel that the Empress, their 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 whomever they worship. This could be represented by that. Is not hearing their prayers. They want to come home, and they don't want this fight anymore. So that's my show for today. I'm sorry about the wobbly table and any noises that might come up on the microphone, but I just wanted to get on and say hello. Please like, share, and subscribe and comment. I'd love to read your comments and get some feedback on what you would like to see or have me cover. Um, so I'll leave it at that. Until next time, always let your light shine. And those times when you can't or you feel unable to, just try. Like I said, I'm no saint, but we are luminous beings inside this flesh. Always try to remember that. And this isn't all there is. As beautiful and as difficult as this world is, there's more. Peace.